Welcome, everybody. Episode 172, Two Chaps, Many Cultures, the #1 live streaming show about the business of culture, the culture of business. Are you ready for some action? You better be, because we're going to give it to you right now. Let's do it.
Yes, cancel that coffee order for Mr. Höferle, please.
I need it. I want it. Give me that coffee. Dang it. What's wrong with you? Come on.
Far too much coffee. Far too much coffee. How are you today, pal?
Didn't even have coffee yet.
This is pre-caffeine.
Pre-caffeination.
I love it. I love it.
So
I love it.
If you're thinking this guy is wholesale nuts, then you're probably right. And I'm playing it up a little bit because today we're going to talk about the personality types again. Remember last episode, yesterday, about the blueprint personality prototype? Today we're talking about the action prototype. The people who want fun, excitement, who are competitive, who don't have time to waste. Do you have time to waste, Brett?
Ready, fire, aim.
Exactly.
You know, I don't mind wasting a bit of time. I'm about a little bit of time wasting. It's good for the soul. It's good for the soul. You know, not that I get a lot of time to waste.
Come on, get on with it.
That's right.
So obviously, I'm not like this all the time. I can be if the situation requires me to be that way.
Oh, yes.
Me?
Always back to front. No.
So action types, right? So we talked about blueprints who would like to, as we sometimes call them, they like to stay in the box because box provides not necessarily safety, but it provides the parameters. It gives you the clear outline. This is my space. This is where I need to be. These are the rules. This is the structure. This is the system that gets me in and out, and that whatever I do inside the box. So blueprint personality types like to stay inside the box. The action types that I so masterfully acted into, action types, they can't wait to get out of the box. Boxes are limiting them. Boxes are not what they desire in life. So you might find action types. Well, let me show you this real quick.
And of course, while we're getting that, just tell us, take some action and tell us where you're tuning in from. Take that action. That's all we're asking you
that
today.
action now. Now.
Take a sip of your
later.
coffee.
Now.
Now.
Whether you had coffee or not. Right.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily a race car driver, or in this case, a Ferrari driver, but come on, ask a kid to draw a race car. Chances are it will be red. So that's why the bank personality profile chose the color red for the action types. And here you see some of the values that action personality types really adhere to or value much. So you see here the fun, the competition. They want to win. They're in it to win it. They're not there for a participation trophy. They care about what they look like, so image is important. You will sometimes recognize them by wearing designer clothes or just being well put together. Let's be clear. Blueprints like to be well put together too, but in a less ostentatious way, whereas the action types, they want to show it off, right? And if they were successful, they will not hide that either. You might be seeing it in their jewelry, in their watches, in their shoes, maybe in the car they drive.
To use a Ferrari Italian term, la bella figura.
Yeah? La bella figura. They want to show la bella figura. Yeah. But not all Italians are action types, right? So let's be careful of that. But you certainly might find a few there. The action types like freedom, flexibility, spontaneity. So you can't tie them down, right? So the worst thing you could do to an action type is to tell them, these are the rules, and I expect you to stick to them.
Oh, like we did for Laura. We made a mistake. We told her the rules, and she's taking action. But
good,
maybe she
good,
liked
Laura.
that. Hi, Laura.
Thank
how are you from New York? New York.
All right. So a blueprint will tell you that rules are meant to be kept, of course, and or adhered to. And action types, when you talk to them about rules, the first place where their mind goes is, well, how can I break them most elegantly and without breaking too much along the way? Because rules not necessarily relevant to me. Let others stick to the rules. I have a better way. I have your process, great, maybe it helps you, but nah, I forge my own path, right? Because I'm my own individual. I need to get this done.
Well, that's interesting. I just want to stop you there. So
yeah,
maybe somebody would suppose that an action type is somebody you can say, here's the rules, go and play by them, and they will take action, but not necessarily. Yeah. So you're talking maybe
that's
that's
the rules for a certain time until they find out that the rules suck, and then
until they find a better rule for them, right? Cool. Okay.
And I'm sure we all know these people, right? I have action people in my life. Sometimes I can be that person too. I will admit to that, right? And as we said yesterday, we may gravitate towards saying, well, blueprint, rule keepers, structure, process, systems sounds quite Swiss and German. Careful with that, because you might as easily say, well, all of these values here, that sounds pretty much American. Because freedom, yes, and action, yes, and excitement, yes, and attention, look at me. All of these, you might think, well, lots of Americans are that way. And maybe that is the case. The data we have for now points us to a lot of Americans, when they are presented with this personality profile, that they would like to see themselves as action types. It's not always the case, though. So it's interesting how certain cultures reward certain personality prototypes. And yes, in the German culture, that blueprint might be more rewarded than the action, but I think it's difficult to draw a correlation from personality prototype to national culture, because we've established national culture is a tricky, if not false, premise anyway, and you'll find different personality types and personality codes within any culture. But let's be honest, action types are those who you find in the C-suite often, or those who start a business, who are entrepreneurs, who are self-starters, who are not waiting for the group to initiate something, right? Even though I displayed a little bit of a dysfunctional way of action, without action types, we probably wouldn't have any, I don't know, new paths forged or new inventions created. Right? How are you in action, Brett? In what situations do you find yourself to be? Oh, let's do it.
Traveling. I like a little bit of spontaneity and in my travels. So if I see something that if I wake up one morning, I might have planned a whole day, but if something comes up and I think, it sounds better, then I can probably do that. I'm happy to take action when it comes to that. Something that I get a kind of quick reward on, and I know that it's proven most of the times before it's worked out, right? It can be based on that as well, but sometimes it's an act of faith. Yeah.
So action doesn't necessarily mean that people are loud. Yes, sometimes actions are loud, and you can recognize them quickly in a room or in any situation. Sometimes they're just drawn to their own rules, right? They are rule breakers. They are the ones who take the left turn when everybody else is staying straight or going right. They say, well, no, I think this grass over there is even greener, and I'm going to check that out. And if it's not, we'll find out along the way, but at least I tried, and all of you lemmings didn't. So I did my own thing. So that's really important to to action personality types, and they don't necessarily need to be the loudmouths or the I don't know, the cocky individuals in the room. But it's funny when as much as you're allowed to do this right now, but remember the last time you went into like a, I don't know, Chamber of Commerce meeting or to a conference, you can the prototypes, those who are high on the four types, so to say, you can quickly recognize them. And the action types, those are the ones who are the flashy dressers. Those are the ones who are fashionably late. Those are the ones who smell good as they rush by you. Those are the ones who pass the line, right? Or loudly greet everybody else. Oh, Tim, oh, Susie, and like, oh, that's so clear. It's because the blueprint wouldn't do that. The blueprint would wait their turn. Their dress probably would be much more conservative, well put together, yet not flashy. And they would wait their turn. They would wait till their name gets called, right? Or it's interesting how it's sometimes just by observing people's behavior, you can pick out those nuances.
And as we said yesterday, this is not necessarily their 100% code. There are four, of course. They may lead with one, they may lead with this, but then deep down, they've got other traits and the other traits of the other personality profiles as well. So this is a good observational. Again, we're using this tool as an observational tool to at least establish some kind of preferred working style, just like we do with all the tools we use in our cadre of tools, our tool belt, call it that.
Yes.
And we use these tools as a way of approaching our clients and serving them in the best way that they will respond to, because we show up the way we do, they show up the way they do. In our work, it's not about changing who we are, but it's about just kind of style switching a little bit in the moment so that you can actually serve the people, so that you can help them learn in the style and the way that they prefer. So again, as Christian says, you know, those that are just ready to take action. If you're in a class with somebody and you're teaching, you can see these types there. They're like, okay, why do I have to start at number 1? You've given me a set of bullet points. Why can't we start at number 4? I find that interesting and I want to start there, right? And these dynamics in a group when you're teaching and facilitating any type of group is really important to identify those in the group, to be able to help them learn the way they do, but also to provide inclusion for everybody in the group, depending on each of their particular styles as well.
As you're talking about teaching or instruction, right? Imagine a presentation, like a slide presentation, whereas a blueprint might have bullet points and structure and systems on their content progression. An action personality type probably would be different fonts, big images, less copy, less text copy, and maybe even moving picture embedded into the presentation. You can even detect them by that, right? And if the desire, I think, for any business or human interaction is to create a mutually benefit outcome, right? That's why we engage with each other. That's why we have a conversation. That's why we are in business. That's why we produce goods or services. That's why we create social bonds. So the desired outcome, in my ideal world, is always a mutually beneficial result. And the quicker I can get to that, or the easier I can get to that, if I can get to that with less friction, then that would be, I think, welcome to most people. So if you're confronted or dealt with somebody who is predominantly or strong on action, play to those values. Here they are again. Play to that. Let them look good. If image is important to them, if stimulation is important to them, or attention that they want, give it to them. If you think you're fanning someone's ego, then you're coming out of your own projection. Then you pass a value judgment. All you're doing by serving somebody to their values, this system, is speak their language. Basically, you you become behaviorally and communicatively more flexible. You have a broader range of how to deal with someone. And once you recognize who you're dealing with and adjust to that, watch what happens. You'll get a desirable outcome, a mutual benefit, much easier than going against that. Right? If you're going to be the rule enforcer with an action type, and if you tell them, hey, wait a second, our meeting was for 10 o'clock and you appeared at 10:02, I'm walking away from this meeting, then sure, then you stuck to your time frame and you honored your own values, but did it help you in the outcome? Most likely not, because it's going to turn the action type off.
Yeah. And you might be interested in, well, you might have an idea on what your particular profile one of these four that you lead with. And we can give you a tool to actually, for free, we can give you a tool to identify that and see if it either confirms your theory about your particular preference, or maybe it surprises you a little bit, and you can then identify where and how you've applied it in your life. So we've got your link up there. Have we got the link? We can throw that up there. There it is. We got the link. We have the link.
You can go to that link. It says crackmycode.com. We're not damaging anything, right? You're only cracking your own personality code. And if you don't want to type this down or write this down, how about we just put this in the chat box or in the comment box, and you can click on that. And this video system doesn't auto-populate it in all the channels that we're serving, so we'll put it in there in the minutes after we're done with this episode, but make sure that you click on that. Click on it now. Take action.
Now. Take action. And make sure you go back to yesterday's episode where we kind of set up a little bit a wider explanation of what this week will be. This is a series of going through. We've got obviously 4 days, first 4 days of this week, and then on Friday we're going to actually give you a tip sheet with a deeper dive into the knowledge about how this works, and how to read your particular profile and also those of others. And again, as we said yesterday, if you go back and listen, if you weren't here yesterday, it is not about some trick or sleight of hand or card shark trick. This is actually, as I said before, it is a tool that you can use to serve your clients in the very best way that they respond to. So we encourage you to do it. It's worked for us, and it is just kind of given us a certain access to a client's style, and it's made them comfortable, which in any learning, in any leadership situation, if you've got an idea on how a person prefers to be spoken to and related to, then I think you're showing them respect. You're showing them the ultimate humility that you're willing to identify and nurture nurture and lead them to their very best learning. So I think it's a very good tool.
Plus, we're honoring you, we're respecting you by not only allowing you to play around with this a little bit, you also get something. So once you crack your code with that link that you see here, the system will generate a brief report on your dominant code. It's not going to give you the full debrief of it. There's a little bit more to it, as you'll see on Friday. And yet, just by cracking your code via that link, you'll get some great taste on how your dominant personality code shows up and what does that mean for you when you interact with others. Great information there, and it's free for you. So we make this available for you and want you to take advantage of it. This is for you. For you, not only the action people, for everyone. And I put an image up that I don't want to forget to show you. We obviously we have tons of material around this, but we're not going to give you the whole spiel here because we could spend days on end with this. But here's some das Spiel, yeah, das Spiel. We could spiel a lot with you. So here are 5 triggers that you want to keep in mind in business when you're dealing with action types. So you want to give them an opportunity where they get into at the ground floor where they feel, oh, I can win most, I can win fastest, right? This is when the Bitcoiners 3 years ago, not the ones that are joining now, those are the ones who did that 3-4 years ago, or even before that. They want to keep the utmost flexibility. They don't want to be tied down to anything. They want to be recognized. There needs to be some kind of reward system, like employee of the month, right? Or hey, here's your special bonus, or we're going to send you on that trip if you get this and that type of benchmark met in this upcoming quarter. Unlimited income potential, so you can rise through the ranks not only by title but also by monetary compensation. And if it's easy to do, if it's automatic, if it's plug and play, if I don't need to read the manual, if I can just say, how does this work? Oh, I just put it here and push the button and it works. Great. Don't bore me with the details. I need it to work now, right? So those are some of the things that you want to keep in mind as you deal with action types.
I think it's one thing about the action type when you identify these, or you're talking to someone and you ask them who in the world you identify might be an action type, then they might say, oh, well, anybody who's really successful. Well, I would argue that, you don't have to be like this to be successful.
Right.
There's plenty of people, Warren Buffett is the richest man, or, has been the richest man in the world at certain various times. Probably one of the most humble and unassuming characters you've ever want to meet, right? He's certainly not someone who shouts out. He just does his drive-through at McDonald's every morning, and that kind of thing. So these are just, this one is at least a little bit more, I guess, visible. It might be more visible, but the others have, have a rich tapestry of understanding and knowledge of the world as well. So this is the beauty of the human condition, is that we all come to the world in different ways and show up in different ways, and we can work together and to leverage all those advantages. And
Right.
So again,
all these personality types, and we're highlighting to you in these Monday through Thursday episodes, we're highlighting the 4 prototypes, right? These are the excessive, almost stereotypical personality types. None of us are one of them singularly. We're all a mix of the 4 of them, and the sequence and the level to which those types play out in our personality, that's what makes us the people who we are. And all of them have their validity, all of them are beautiful, and all of them come with a certain, how do I say this without sounding too preachy, but they come with a certain user manual, so to say. Let me use it that way. So unless you know how someone ticks, how their personality is composed, you'll fish in the dark. You're not going to know, or it's going to take you a lot of trial and error to build that rapport, to get to that desired mutual outcome. What if you could come to that awareness much quicker, right? And this tool is the conduit of helping us doing that, right? So coming to that understanding of other people's behavior in a much quicker way is the goal with this. Yep. It's not about manipulation. It's not about stereotyping. It's not about labeling people a certain way. It's finding a deeper understanding in a non-intrusive, mutually beneficial way.
And a whole encompassing way, right? Because as Kristen says, the 4 make up the human. So that it is a great tool in that way. So excellent. Right. So maybe we'll put that flash that link up there on the screen again. And
there it is.
Here, as I said, it is free. Go and crack your own code, and we encourage you to do that. Let us know, and let us know what people in your life, are you an action type? Let us know in the comments. If it's in the replay, we read all comments and answer all questions. And don't send Christmas cards or Hanukkah celebrations or Ramadan wishes, but we will do it live if you want. You send us and we will do it for you or a friend of yours. How about that? Right. We'll take action on that.
All right. Well, let's take action for the rest of the day. Thanks for watching, everyone. 2 Chaps Mini Cultures. Watch us again tomorrow as we talk about the nurturing type. Enough for that now. See you again tomorrow.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.